Hello, dear listeners. In just a moment, this story will take you on an adventure while revealing fascinating facts you may have never discovered before. Before we begin, subscribing to the channel would mean a lot and greatly support this journey. Thank you in advance. We are beginning. Your eyes open. The ceiling above you is familiar, the same wooden beams that have held this roof for generations, the same cracks in the plaster that you traced with your eyes as a child when sleep would not come. But something is different. The silence is different. For 10 years, the nights have been filled with sound. The clash of metal, the cries of men, the endless drumming of waves against the shore where the Greek ships lay beached. The screams of the wounded, the crackle of fires, the thunder of stones hurled from catapults. But tonight there is nothing. You lie still, listening, waiting for the sounds that should be there. They are not. The war has ended. You do not know how long you lie there, your body still, your ears straining against the silence. The bed beneath you is the same bed you have slept in since you were a child, the wool blankets rough against your skin, the pillow flat from years of use. The room is dark, but the darkness is different now. It is not the darkness of hiding, of waiting for dawn, of listening for the first sounds of attack. It is the darkness of peace, and it terrifies you. You rise from your bed, your feet finding the floor, the stone cold against your skin. You have walked these floors in darkness 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, your body moving by memory, your hands finding the walls, the door, the latch. You push open the shutters and the light spills in, pale and gold, the first light of dawn. The city is waking. Not with the noise of battle, not with the shouts of soldiers, but with something else. A stillness, a waiting, a breath held too long. You stand at the window, your hands on the stone sill, and you look out at the streets below. They are empty. The houses are dark, the doors closed, the walls rising against a sky that is clear and blue. You have seen this view every morning for 10 years, always with the knowledge that beyond those walls, an army waited. Today the walls are still there, but the army is gone. You dress quickly, your hands moving with the speed of habit, pulling on your tunic, your sandals, the wool cloak that your mother wove before the war began. You leave your room and walk into the street. Your footsteps echo on the stone, the sound too loud in the silence, and you find yourself walking softly, as if you are afraid of waking something that has been sleeping for 10 years. Others are emerging from their houses, their faces pale, their eyes searching. The baker is at his door, his hands flour-dusted, his ovens cold. The blacksmith stands in his doorway, his forge dark, his hammer still. The woman who sells wool in the market is there, her baskets empty, her hands folded. No one speaks. No one knows what to say. After 10 years, the silence is stranger than the noise ever was. You walk toward the walls, toward the skiing gate, toward the place where for a decade the enemy has beaten against the stones. The streets are familiar, worn smooth by the passage of feet that have walked them every day of your life. You pass the temple where your father prayed before the war began, its doors open, its altar cold. You pass the house where your childhood friend lived, the door closed, the shutters drawn. You pass the market where your mother bought bread when the city was still at peace, the stalls empty, the canvas flapping in the morning wind. You reach the wall and climb the stairs, your hand on the stone, feeling the warmth of the rising sun. The stone has been scarred by years of war, chipped by arrows, cracked by stones, stained with blood that the rain could not wash away. You know these scars as you know the lines on your own hands. You have climbed these stairs 100 times, 1,000 times to watch the enemy gather, to watch the ships fill the bay, to watch the smoke rise from 1,000 fires. The guards are there, their faces turned toward the sea, their bodies still. Their armor is dull, their spears lowered, their shields resting against the wall. They do not turn as you approach. They are watching something. You step beside them and look out. The beach is empty. For 10 years, it has been crowded with ships, with tents, with the smoke of 1,000 fires. The black ships of the Greeks lined the shore from the headland to the river, their masts like a forest stripped of leaves. The tents stretched back from the beach, row after row, a city of canvas and leather. The fires burned day and night, their smoke rising to darken the sky. Now there is nothing. Only sand and water and the pale light of morning. You search the horizon, your eyes aching with the effort. You wait for the masts to appear, for the sails to catch the wind, for the army to return. There is nothing. The sea is empty. The sky is empty. The war is over. And then you see it. At the edge of the water, where the waves break against the sand, a shape. Large, dark, unfamiliar. You lean forward, your hands gripping the stone, your body pressing against the wall. It is a horse. A horse made of wood, so tall that it would dwarf any animal you have ever seen, so broad that it would fill the street outside your house. It stands on the beach, silent, waiting, its flanks reflecting the morning light. You hear your own breath, too fast, too loud. You hear the guards beside you, their breath catching, their bodies tensing. You hear, from below, the first voices rising, the first questions, the first stirrings of hope. What is it? A gift? A trick? An offering to the gods? You turn from the wall and climb down, your feet finding the stairs, your hands gripping the stone. The crowd is gathering now, voices rising, hands pointing. You push through them, past the old women who have prayed for peace for a decade, past the children who have never known a world without war, past the soldiers whose arms are scarred, whose eyes are hollow, whose bodies are still. The gates are opening. You hear the groan of wood, the rattle of chains, the slow movement of the great beams that have held the enemy at bay for 10 years. You step through, and the sand is soft beneath your feet, the air cool and salt, the horse growing larger as you approach. It is even bigger than you thought. The wood is pale, newly cut, the grain still visible, the edges still sharp. The legs are thick as tree trunks, the body broad as a house, the head held high as if it is looking toward the city. You stand at its base, looking up, and you feel very small. The shadow of it falls across you, cool and dark, and you shiver. The people are talking now, their voices rising with hope. They have gone, someone says. They have left an offering to Athena. Another voice, we should burn it. Another, No, we should bring it inside. A trophy for the city. Another, a sign from the gods. Another, a victory. You reach out and touch the wood. It is smooth, cool, the surface of something that was made by hands, shaped by tools, brought here for a purpose. You press your palm against it and you feel nothing. No warmth, no vibration, no sign that anything lives within. But something holds you there, your hand against the wood, your ear turned toward it as if you are waiting to hear a sound. The wood is silent. The horse is silent. But you cannot move. You stand there, your palm against the grain, your breath held, your body still. The crowd presses around you, hands reaching out, voices rising. They are bringing ropes, laying rollers, preparing to move the horse toward the gate. Too big for the gate, someone says. We'll tear down the wall. Open the gates wider. Bring it through the main gate. The gods sent it. The gods will make it fit. You step back, your hand falling from the wood, and you watch them work. They are laughing now, the first laughter you have heard in years, the sound strange and sweet. They are young men who have known only war, old women who have prayed for this day, children who have never seen their fathers smile. They are bringing ropes and rollers, axes and levers, and they are laughing. The horse shifts, the wood groaning, and you see the ropes tighten, the men pulling, the rollers turning. The horse moves slowly, an inch, a foot, a yard. The crowd cheers. They are pulling it toward the gate, toward the city, toward the streets you have walked all your life. You follow because there is nowhere else to go. The horse moves through the gate, and the wood scrapes against the stone, and the gate groans, and for a moment, it seems as if it will not fit. But the men pull harder, and the wood gives, and the horse passes through. The city is waiting. The streets are lined with people, their faces lifted, their hands raised. They are singing now old songs that you have not heard since you were a child. Songs of victory, of peace, of the gods who watch over Troy. You walk among them and you try to feel what they feel. You cannot. The horse is in the center of the city now, in the square before the temple, where the old king used to address the people before the war. The priests are there, their robes white, their hands raised. A bull is being led forward, its horns wreathed in flowers. A fire is being lit, the smoke rising toward the sky. You stand at the edge of the crowd and you look at the horse. It is still. It is silent. It is waiting. The priest raises his hands and the crowd falls silent. He speaks of victory, of peace, of the gods who have delivered them. He speaks of the Greeks who have fled, of the ships that have sailed away, of the years of suffering that are finally ended. The crowd cheers and you watch them and you wait. The sun is higher now, the light stronger, the shadows shorter. The feast is being prepared, the wine being brought out, the tables being set. The city is celebrating. You stand at the edge of the crowd and you look at the horse and you wait. And in the silence you hear something. Not a sound, not really. A presence. A weight. A thing that is not wood, not empty, not a gift. You turn your head, your ear toward the horse and you listen. There is nothing. There is only the wood, the shadow, the silence. But you cannot look away. The day passes, the light shifting, the shadows growing. The feast continues, the wine flows, the laughter grows. You stand by the horse and you wait. The sun is setting now, the sky turning gold, the shadows long. The city is drunk with wine and hope, and no one is watching the gate. You look at the horse and you know. The sun has climbed higher, and the light that falls on Troy is golden, warm, the kind of light that painters use for the walls of temples, for the faces of gods. You stand at the edge of the square, your back against the wall of a house that has stood here for generations, and you watch the horse. It has been here for hours now, brought through the gates with ropes and rollers, with the cheers of a city that has forgotten how to be afraid. It stands in the center of the square, its shadow long, its wood pale, its silence complete. The feast is being prepared. Tables are being brought out from the houses, laid with cloths that have been stored away for 10 years, waiting for this day. Women are carrying bread, cheese, olives, figs, the food of peace, the food of celebration. Wine is being poured, the red liquid catching the light, spilling on the stones where blood has spilled so many times before. Children are running through the streets, their laughter strange and sweet, a sound you have almost forgotten. You should be celebrating. You know this. The war is over. The Greeks are gone. The ships have sailed, the tents have been struck, the fires have been extinguished. For 10 years you have dreamed of this day, prayed for it, fought for it, and now it is here. But you cannot move from the wall. You cannot take your eyes from the horse. It is not fear. You tell yourself it is not fear. It is something else. A weight in your chest, a stillness in your limbs, a voice at the back of your mind that speaks in words you cannot quite hear. You have felt this before in the moments before battle, when the enemy is just over the hill, when the arrows have not yet begun to fall, when the world holds its breath. You know this feeling. You do not want to name it. The priests are gathered around the horse, their white robes bright against the dark wood. The high priest raises his hands and the crowd falls silent. He speaks of the gods, of Athena, of the gift she has given them. He speaks of the Greeks who have fled, of the ships that have sailed, of the walls that have held. His voice is strong, confident, the voice of a man who has not doubted, who has never doubted, who will not doubt now. The crowd listens. They want to believe. You see it in their faces, in the way they lean forward, in the way their hands press together, in the way their eyes shine with tears. They want to believe that the war is over, that the suffering is ended, that they can sleep without fear. You want to believe it too. But your eyes keep returning to the horse. A man pushes through the crowd. He is old, his hair white, his face lined, his clothes torn. You recognize him though you have not seen him for years. He was a soldier once, a captain of the guard, before the war took his sons, before the war took his strength. He stands before the priests and his voice is rough, his hands shaking. "Burn it," he says. "Burn the horse. It is a trick. A gift from the Greeks is never a gift." The crowd murmurs. The priests frown. The high priest raises his hand. "The war is over," he says. "The Greeks have fled. They have left an offering to the gods. Would you burn an offering to Athena?" The old man does not move. His eyes are fixed on the horse. "I have seen their tricks," he says. "I have seen their lies. This is no offering. It is a weapon." His voice breaks, and for a moment, you see the grief that has followed him for 10 years. "My sons are dead because I did not see. Do not let my grandsons die because you refuse to see now." The crowd is silent. You can hear your own breath, too fast, too loud. You can hear the wind moving through the square, stirring the dust, tugging at the cloths on the tables. You can hear, somewhere in the distance, the sea. The high priest speaks again, his voice softer now, gentler. "You are tired," he says. "We are all tired. The war has taken much from us. But it is over. The Greeks are gone. The gods have given us victory. Let us not dishonor their gift with fear." The old man stands for a long moment, his eyes on the horse. Then he turns and walks away, his shoulders bent, his steps slow. The crowd watches him go and no one speaks. You watch him go and you want to follow. But your feet will not move. The feast continues. The tables are set, the wine is poured, the meat is carved. The people eat, they drink, they laugh. They embrace each other, strangers embracing strangers, soldiers embracing the families they have not seen for years. The sound of it fills the square, rises above the walls, carries across the plain. It is the sound of a city that has forgotten how to be afraid. You walk through the crowd, your feet carrying you without direction. You pass a soldier who is holding his daughter, her face buried in his chest, his arms tight around her. You pass a woman who is laughing, her mouth open, her eyes wet, her hands clutching the arm of a man who was her enemy yesterday and is her brother today. You pass children who are running, chasing each other through the legs of adults, their voices high and clear. You stop at the edge of the square near the horse. Its shadow has moved with the sun, stretching across the stones, reaching toward the temple. You stand in its shadow and you are cold. A hand touches your arm. You turn, and it is a woman you have known all your life, her face flushed with wine, her eyes bright. "You should eat," she says. "You should drink. The war is over." She smiles and you try to smile back. "I know," you say, but your voice sounds strange, distant, as if it belongs to someone else. She pulls you toward the tables and you let her. You sit on a bench and someone puts bread in your hands and someone pours wine into your cup. You eat and you drink and you watch the horse. The sun is moving. The shadows are shifting. The light is turning from gold to amber, the color of honey, the color of old stone. The feast is loud now, the wine flowing freely, the laughter rising. People are dancing in the square, their arms linked, their feet moving in patterns you have not seen since before the war. You watch them and you try to remember what it felt like to dance, to move without fear, to laugh without looking over your shoulder. You cannot. You set down your cup. You push back from the table. You walk toward the horse. It is closer now, larger, more real. You can see the grain of the wood, the marks of the tools, the places where the planks are joined. You can see the seams, the cracks, the spaces where light does not reach. You walk around it, your hand trailing against its side, and you feel the smoothness of it, the coolness, the emptiness. You stop at the belly where the wood bulges, where the shadow is deepest. You press your ear against it and you listen. There is nothing. There is only the wood, the grain, the silence. You pull back and your hand leaves a mark on the surface, a smear of dust and sweat. You stare at it and you do not know what you expected to hear. A voice? A breath? A heartbeat? You do not know. You do not know anything. A voice speaks behind you. You see it too. You turn and it is the old man, the one who spoke against the horse. His eyes are red, his face lined, his hands shaking. He stands in the shadow of the horse and he looks older than you remember, older than any man should look. I saw it, he says. I saw it when they brought it through the gate. I saw it when they set it in the square. I saw it when the priests prayed over it. He looks at you and his eyes are the eyes of a man who has seen too much. There is something inside it. You want to ask him what he means. You want to tell him that he is wrong, that the war is over, that the horse is empty. But you cannot speak. You stand in the shadow of the horse and you watch him and you wait. He steps closer, his hand reaching out, his fingers touching the wood. I have heard them, he says. At night, when the city is quiet, when the wind is still, I have heard them moving. He presses his ear against the horse and you see his face change, his eyes widen, his mouth open. He pulls back, his hand trembling. They are waiting, he says. They are waiting for night. You want to tell him that he is wrong. You want to believe that he is wrong. But you have heard it too. In the silence, in the stillness, in the hours before dawn when the city holds its breath. You have heard the sound of something that is not wood, not empty, not a gift. The old man steps back and his hand falls from the horse. I told them, he says. I told them to burn it. I told them to tear it down. They would not listen. He looks at you and his eyes are the eyes of a man who has lost everything. They will not listen. He walks away, his steps slow, his shoulders bent. You watch him go and you want to follow. But your feet will not move. You stand in the shadow of the horse and you wait. The sun is lower now, the light deeper, the shadows longer. The feast continues, the voices rise, the laughter grows. You stand by the horse and you watch the city celebrate. You watch them eat and drink, dance and sing. You watch them embrace each other, kiss each other, promise each other a future that will not come. The old man is gone. No one else has spoken against the horse. No one else has listened to the sound inside. They are celebrating. They are dancing. They are drinking. They are dreaming of peace. You look at the horse. It is still. It is silent. It is waiting. And you wait with it. The sun is setting. You have been standing by the horse for hours, or perhaps it has only been minutes. Time has become strange in the square, stretching and contracting, losing its meaning. The feast continues around you, the voices rising and falling, the laughter echoing off the walls, but you are separate from it now, a stillness at the center of motion, a silence at the heart of sound. The light is changing. The gold of afternoon has deepened to amber, then to orange, then to the first red of evening. The shadows have grown long, reaching across the square like fingers, touching the walls, the temple, the houses where people are beginning to light their lamps. The horse's shadow is the longest of all, stretching toward the gate, toward the walls, toward the sea that you cannot see but know is there. You have not moved from this spot. Your feet are planted on the stones, your back against the wall of a house that has stood here for generations, your eyes fixed on the horse. You have watched the people come and go, the children running, the soldiers drinking, the women dancing. You have watched the priests bless the horse, the elders praise the gods, the kings speak of victory. You have watched them all and you have waited. The old man did not return. You looked for him as the afternoon wore on, as the feast grew louder, as the wine flowed freely. You scanned the crowd, searching for his white hair, his bent shoulders, his trembling hands. He was not there. Perhaps he went home. Perhaps he is sleeping. Perhaps he is standing at his own window, watching the horse as you are watching it, waiting for something that no one else will see. The children have stopped running now. They are sitting at the tables, their faces flushed, their eyes heavy. The soldiers are singing old songs that you have not heard for years, songs of heroes and battles, of victories long past. The women are gathering the plates, the cups, the remnants of the feast. The day is ending. You push yourself away from the wall and walk toward the horse. Your legs are stiff, your feet cold, your body protesting the hours of stillness. But you move. You move because you have to know. You have to see. You have to understand what it is that has been standing in the center of your city, in the center of your life, in the center of your peace. You stop at the horse's flank, where the wood is darkest, where the shadow is deepest. You reach out and touch it. The wood is cool, smooth, the same as it was this morning. But there is something else now. A vibration so faint that you almost miss it, so deep that you feel it in your chest rather than in your fingers. You press your palm against it and the vibration grows, or you imagine it does, or you have always felt it and are only now allowing yourself to know. You lean closer, your ear against the wood, and you listen. There is nothing. There is only the wood, the grain, the silence. But the silence is different now. It is not empty. It is full. Full of waiting, full of breathing, full of something that is not wood, not empty, not a gift. You pull back and your hand is shaking. You look around but no one is watching. They are too busy celebrating, too busy drinking, too busy believing that the war is over. They do not see you standing here, your hand against the horse, your heart beating too fast, your breath coming too short. You step back and your foot strikes something on the ground. You look down and it is a cup, knocked over, the wine still wet on the stones. You bend to pick it up and your fingers close around the clay, and for a moment you are somewhere else. A different feast, a different celebration, a different time. You were a child then, and your father was alive, and your mother was laughing, and the war had not yet begun. You remember the taste of wine, the warmth of the fire, the sound of your father's voice as he told stories of heroes and battles, of victories long past. You stand and the cup is in your hand and the memory is gone. You set the cup on a table and walk toward the temple. The steps are worn smooth, the stone warm from the day's sun. You climb and the voices of the feast grow quieter, the laughter more distant, the square falling away behind you. You reach the top and turn. The city is spread below you, the houses, the streets, the walls. The horse is in the center, dark against the pale stone of the square. The torches are being lit, their flames flickering, their light dancing. The feast continues, but it is slower now, quieter, the wine taking its toll. People are leaning against each other, heads nodding, eyes closing. The day is ending. You sit on the temple steps, the stone cool beneath you, and you wait. For what you do not know. For something to happen. For something to change. For the feeling in your chest to go away. The stars are appearing now, one by one, the same stars that have watched over Troy for 1,000 years. You look at them and you think of the old man, of his white hair, his trembling hands, his voice that no one listened to. You think of his sons, dead on the plain, their bodies never recovered. You think of his grandsons who will never know peace, who will never know anything but war. You close your eyes and you see the horse. It is in your mind now, as it has been all day, all night, all the years of the war. It is waiting, and you are waiting with it. A sound comes from the square. You open your eyes, and the feast is quiet now, the people still, the torches burning low. You listen, and it comes again. A creak, a groan, the sound of wood shifting, settling, moving. You stand, your legs weak, your heart pounding. You walk down the steps, your feet finding the stone, your eyes fixed on the horse. The sound comes again, louder this time, and you see the people stirring, looking up, looking toward the horse. You reach the square, and you are standing in the shadow of the horse. The wood is dark, the grain invisible, the seams lost in the fading light. You press your hand against it, and the vibration is stronger now, unmistakable, a pulse that you feel in your chest, in your throat, in your skull. You lean close, your ear against the wood, and you hear it. Not a sound, not a voice, not a breath. A heartbeat. Slow, steady, waiting. You pull back and your breath catches and you want to scream, to run, to warn them. But your voice is gone. Your feet will not move. You stand in the shadow of the horse and you watch the city sleep. The torches are burning low. The feast is over. The people are gone, stumbling home, falling into beds, sleeping the sleep of the victorious. The square is empty, the tables abandoned, the cups overturned. Only the horse remains, dark against the pale stone, waiting. You stand by it, your hand on its flank, your ear turned toward it. The heartbeat is there, steady, patient, eternal. You do not move. You cannot move. You stand in the shadow of the horse and you wait for the night to end. The night is complete now. There is no moon, or perhaps it has not yet risen. The stars are out, scattered across the sky like the fragments of a memory that is breaking apart. You are standing in the square, your hand still pressed against the horse's flank, your ears still turned toward the wood, and you have been here for hours, or perhaps you have never left. The city is silent. The feast is over. The people are sleeping, and the horse is waiting. You do not know how long you stand there. The heartbeat beneath your palm is steady, patient, eternal. It has been there all along, you realize. From the moment the horse was brought through the gate, from the moment it was set in the square, from the moment the priests blessed it and the people celebrated it, The heartbeat was there. You were the only one who listened. You were the only one who heard. Your arm is numb. Your fingers are cold. You pull your hand away and the wood is warm where you touched it, warm where the heartbeat pulses beneath. You step back and your legs are stiff, your feet cold, your body protesting the hours of stillness. You look at the horse, and it is the same as it was this morning, the same as it was yesterday, the same as it will be tomorrow. But you are not the same. You know now. You have always known. You were only waiting to admit it. You turn away from the horse and walk toward the temple. The steps are cold, the stone wet with dew. You climb and your feet are heavy, your breath short, your heart too loud in your chest. You reach the top and turn, and the city is spread below you, the houses dark, the streets empty, the walls rising against a sky that is black and endless. The horse is in the center, a dark shape against the pale stone of the square. You watch it and you wait. A light flickers in the temple behind you. You turn and the old priest is there, his white robe bright in the darkness, his hands folded, his face still. He looks at you and his eyes are empty or full, you cannot tell. You should be sleeping, he says. His voice is soft, distant, as if it is coming from somewhere else. You should be resting. Tomorrow we will give thanks to the gods. Tomorrow we will sacrifice. Tomorrow we will begin again. You do not answer. You turn back to the city, to the horse, to the waiting. The priest is silent for a long moment, and then he speaks again. You have been standing by the horse all day. It is not a question. You do not answer. The old man spoke to you, he says. He spoke to you of the sound inside. You turn and the priest is looking at you and his face is no longer still. There is something there, something that might be fear or might be understanding or might be something else. He was a good soldier, the priest says. He was a good man. But the war broke him. It broke many of us. He pauses and his hands tighten, his fingers pressing together. The Greeks are gone. The ships have sailed. The war is over. You must let it go. You must let it end. You look at the horse and you think of the old man, of his white hair, his trembling hands, his voice that no one listened to. You think of his sons, dead on the plain, their bodies never recovered. You think of his grandsons who will never know peace, who will never know anything but war. You think of the heartbeat beneath your palm, steady, patient, waiting. There is something inside it, you say. Your voice is strange, distant, as if it belongs to someone else. There is something inside the horse. The priest is silent. You turn and he is looking at the horse, his face pale, his hands still. The Greeks left it, he says. They left it as an offering to Athena, an offering of thanks for their safe passage home. His voice is steady, but his hands are shaking. There is nothing inside it. There can be nothing inside it. You look at the horse and you know that he is wrong. You have always known. The old man heard it, you say. I heard it. There are men inside, waiting. The priest does not answer. He stands beside you, his hands folded, his face still, and you watch the horse together. The stars move, the night deepens, the silence grows. You do not know how long you stand there. Time has lost its shape, its edges blurred, its meaning faded. You are waiting, and the horse is waiting, and the city is sleeping. The sound comes without warning. A creak, a groan, the sound of wood shifting, settling, moving. You turn, and the priest is staring at the horse, his face white, his mouth open. The sound comes again, louder this time, and you see the wood moving, the seams widening, the darkness inside. You run. Your feet carry you down the steps, across the square toward the horse. The priest follows, his robe catching on the stone, his breath coming fast. You reach the horse and you see it. A seam, a crack, a line of darkness where the wood has separated. You press your hand against it, and the wood is warm, alive, pulsing. The sound comes again, and you see the wood splintering, the planks separating, the darkness growing. You step back, and the priest is beside you, his hands raised, his voice rising in prayer. The horse is opening. The horse is waking. The horse is giving birth to something that has been waiting inside. A hand emerges, pale, dark, covered in dust. It grips the edge of the wood, and you see the fingers tighten, the knuckles white, the sinews straining. Another hand, another. The opening widens, and the wood groans, and the horse is breaking apart. You step back, and your foot strikes something on the ground. You look down, and it is a sword, dropped by a soldier who was too drunk to carry it home. You bend and pick it up, and the weight of it is strange, unfamiliar, wrong. You have held a sword before, but that was in another life, before the war ended, before the peace came, before the horse was brought through the gate. The first man is out now. He stands in the opening, his body dark against the pale wood, his face hidden, his hands empty. He looks at you, or you think he does, and then he drops to the ground. Others follow, silent, swift, trained. They are not shouting. They are not screaming. They are moving, spreading, disappearing into the shadows. You raise the sword, and your hands are shaking. The man who was first is standing before you, and his face is young, younger than you, younger than the war, younger than the hate that brought him here. He looks at you, and his eyes are empty or full, you cannot tell. Then he moves, and you move, and the sword is in your hands, and the world is noise. The priest is shouting. The torches are falling. The city is waking. You hear screams from the streets, from the houses, from the walls. You hear metal against metal, metal against stone, metal against flesh. You hear the gates opening, the great beams groaning, the chains rattling. You hear the sound of an army entering, of feet on stone, of voices raised in victory. You run. You do not know where you are going. The streets are dark, the houses burning, the people running. You pass a woman clutching a child, her face white, her mouth open, her screams swallowed by the noise. You pass a soldier falling, his armor bright, his blood dark, his eyes already empty. You pass the temple, the flames rising, the smoke black against the stars. You reach the wall and climb. The steps are slick with blood, the stones hot, the air thick. You reach the top, and the city is below you, burning, dying, ending. The ships are in the harbor, their torches bright, their sails full, their men pouring onto the beach. The gates are open, the walls are breached, the city is fallen. You stand on the wall and you watch. The horse is still there in the center of the square, its wood dark, its shadow long, its belly empty. The men who came out of it are gone, lost in the streets, lost in the houses, lost in the city that is dying around you. The priest is lying on the steps of the temple, his white robe red, his hands still, his eyes open. The old man is not there. You do not know where he is. You hope he is not here. You hope he is somewhere else, somewhere far from this city, somewhere the war cannot reach. The fire is spreading. You can feel the heat of it on your face, on your hands, on your arms. The smoke is thick, the air hard to breathe. You cough and your eyes water and you cannot see. You lean against the wall and the stone is warm, the stone that has stood for 1,000 years, the stone that will stand for 1,000 more. You think of your mother, of her hands, of her voice, of the bread she baked before the war. You think of your father, of his stories, of his laughter, of the way he looked at the sea before the ships came. You think of the old man, of his white hair, of his trembling hands, of the sons he buried and the grandsons who will never be born. You think of the horse that was brought through the gate, that was set in the square, that was blessed by the priests and celebrated by the people. The horse that was empty or was not empty or was always full. The horse that you touched, that you listened to, that you knew was wrong. You knew and you did nothing. You knew and you let it happen. You knew and you are here watching it end. The sword is still in your hand. You look at it and it is strange, unfamiliar, wrong. You drop it and it clatters on the stone, and the sound is lost in the noise of the city dying. You sit on the wall, your back against the stone, your legs stretched out before you. The stars are still there, the same stars that watched over Troy when it was young, when it was new, when it was the center of the world. They are still here. They will always be here. You are here with them in the fire, in the smoke, in the city that is ending. You close your eyes and you listen. The screams are fading, the metal is quieting, the fire is settling. The night is ending or it is beginning. You cannot tell. It does not matter. You open your eyes and the sky is lighter, the stars fading, the morning coming. The city is quiet now, or almost quiet. There are no more screams, no more metal, no more fire. There is only the wind and the smoke and the silence. You stand and your legs are weak, your body cold, your eyes heavy. You walk along the wall, your feet finding the stones, your hands touching the stone. You reach the gate and it is open, the wood broken, the chains hanging. You step through and the sand is soft beneath your feet, the air cool and salt, the sea dark and still. The ships are gone. The Greeks are gone. The city is empty. You stand on the beach and you look back at the walls. They are still standing, the walls that have stood for 1,000 years. But the gates are open, the city is burning, and the people are gone. You walk toward the water, your feet sinking into the sand, your steps slow, your body heavy. You reach the edge and the water is cold, dark, endless. You stand there and you watch the sun rise. The sun is rising over the ruins of Troy. You have been standing on the beach for hours, or perhaps you have been here for days. Time has lost its meaning. The water is gray, the sand is cold, the sky is pale. Behind you, the city is burning. The smoke rises in columns, thick and black, staining the sky, blotting out the sun. The flames are still visible, flickering between the walls, licking at the towers, consuming everything that was built, everything that was loved, everything that was. You do not turn around. You cannot turn around. You stand at the edge of the water and you watch the waves break against the sand and you listen to the silence. It is not the silence of peace. It is the silence of ending. The silence of a city that has been here for 1,000 years and will be here no more. The tide is coming in. The water reaches your feet, cold, pulling at the sand, and you step back. You have been standing here for so long that your feet have sunk into the beach, leaving marks that the sea will erase. You look down at your feet, at the water covering them, at the sand shifting, and you think of all the things that will be erased. The houses, the temples, the walls. The names of the people who lived here, who loved here, who died here. The memory of a city that was once the center of the world. You walk back toward the shore, your steps slow, your body heavy. The sand is soft, giving way beneath your feet, and you stumble. You catch yourself, your hands sinking into the cold, wet sand, and you kneel there for a moment, breathing, waiting. The smoke is thick in the air, and you cough, and your eyes water, and you cannot see. You stand and you walk toward the walls. The scion gate is still open, the wood charred, the stone blackened. You step through, and the city is before you, the streets empty, the houses dark, the fire still burning. The square where the horse stood is littered with debris, with broken tables, overturned cups, the remnants of a feast that ended in fire and blood. The temple steps are stained, the white stone red, the bodies of the priests lying where they fell. You walk through the streets and you see the bodies. They are everywhere, in the doorways, in the alleys, in the squares. Men, women, children. Soldiers, priests, merchants. People you knew, people you did not. They are still, their eyes open, their mouths open, their hands reaching for something that is not there. You step over them, around them, through them. You do not look at their faces. You cannot look at their faces. You come to your house. The door is open, the wood splintered, the frame broken. You step inside and the rooms are dark, the furniture overturned, the belongings scattered. Your mother's loom is broken, the threads tangled, the cloth torn. Your father's shield is missing, taken by someone who needed it more, or someone who wanted it for themselves. Your room is at the back, the bed still made, the shutters still closed. You stand in the doorway and you do not enter. There is nothing there for you anymore. You leave the house and walk toward the palace. The walls are still standing, the columns still upright, the gates still closed. You push them open and the courtyard is empty, the fountains dry, the gardens trampled. You walk through the halls, your footsteps echoing on the stone, and you see the bodies of the guards, the servants, the courtiers. They are lying where they fell, their armor bright, their blood dark, their faces still. The throne room is at the end of the hall. The doors are open, the torches still burning, the smoke rising. You step inside, and the king is there, lying at the foot of his throne, his crown fallen, his robes stained, his eyes open. His wife is beside him, her hand reaching for his, her face peaceful or empty, you cannot tell. You stand before them and you do not know what to feel. You knew them or you did not. You served them or you did not. You fought for them or you fought for yourself. It does not matter now. They are dead and the city is dead and you are alive. You leave the palace and walk toward the walls. The sun is higher now, the light stronger, the shadows shorter. The fires are dying, the smoke thinning, the city settling. You climb the steps to the wall, your feet heavy, your breath short, and you reach the top. The plain stretches before you, empty, the ship's gone, the tents gone, the army gone. The sea is gray, the sky gray, the world gray. You look at the city and you see it for what it is. A ruin. A memory. A place that was once alive, that was once full of voices, of footsteps, of life. Now it is silent. The houses are empty, the streets are empty, the temples are empty. The gods who watched over this city have left, or they were never there, or they are here still, watching, waiting, silent. You walk along the wall, your feet finding the stones, your hands touching the stone. You have walked these walls 100 times, 1,000 times, in peace and in war. You know every stone, every crack, every stain. You know the places where the arrows struck, where the stones hit, where the blood was spilled. You know the names of the men who stood here, who died here, who were buried beneath the stones. They are gone now. They are all gone. You reach the gate and stop. The horse is still there in the center of the square, its wood blackened, its shape still visible. It is broken now, the planks splintered, the seams open, the belly empty. The men who came out of it are gone, lost in the city, lost in the fire, lost in the war that brought them here. You walk toward it, your steps slow, your body heavy, and you stand before it. The wood is warm, the grain still visible, the marks of the tools still there. You touch it and it is cool or warm, you cannot tell. You press your palm against it and there is nothing. No vibration, no pulse, no heartbeat. It is empty now. It was never empty. It is empty now. You step back and your foot strikes something on the ground. You look down and it is a sword, dropped by a soldier who was too tired to carry it home. You pick it up and the weight of it is familiar, the balance right, the edge dull. You have held a sword like this before, in battles that you have fought, in battles that you have lost, in battles that you have survived. You hold it now and you do not know what to do with it. You look at the horse and you think of the old man. The one who spoke against it, who warned them, who told them to burn it. You do not know where he is. You hope he is somewhere else, somewhere far from this city, somewhere the war cannot reach. You hope he is alive. You hope he is sleeping somewhere, dreaming of peace. You drop the sword and it clatters on the stones, and the sound echoes in the empty square. You turn away from the horse and walk toward the temple. The steps are stained, the body's gone, taken by someone, somewhere, to be buried, to be burned, to be forgotten. You climb and your legs are weak, your breath short, your heart too loud in your chest. You reach the top and turn. The city is below you. The houses, the streets, the walls. The smoke rising, the fires dying, the silence growing. You sit on the steps, the stone cool beneath you, and you look at the city. You have lived here all your life. You were born here, in a house that is now empty, in a room that is now dark, in a city that is now dead. You have walked these streets, climbed these walls, prayed in these temples. You have loved here and hated here and fought here. And now you are sitting here watching it end. You close your eyes and you listen. There is nothing. No voices, no footsteps, no cries. The city is silent. The war is over. The peace has come, the peace that you prayed for, the peace that you dreamed of, the peace that you fought for. It is here and it is silent and it is empty. You open your eyes and the sun is higher, the light stronger, the shadows shorter. The day is passing, or it is beginning, or it is ending. You cannot tell. It does not matter. You sit on the steps of the temple and you watch the city that was once the center of the world, and you remember. You remember the morning when the Greeks left, when the ships sailed, when the beach was empty. You remember the horse standing on the sand, pale and still. You remember the crowd, the voices, the hands reaching out to touch it. You remember the old man, his white hair, his trembling hands, his voice that no one listened to. You remember the feast, the wine, the laughter, the dancing. You remember the night, the sound of wood, the hands emerging, the gates opening. You remember the running, the screaming, the fighting. You remember the fire, the smoke, the bodies in the streets. You remember the silence that came after, the silence that is still here, that will always be here. You remember and you cannot stop remembering. You sit on the steps and you let the memories come and you let them go and you let them stay. The sun is setting now, the light turning gold, the shadows growing long. You have been sitting here for hours, or perhaps it has only been minutes. Time has lost its meaning. You are tired, so tired, your body heavy, your eyes closing. You lean back against the stone and you look at the sky. The stars are appearing, one by one, the same stars that watched over Troy when it was new, when it was young, when it was the center of the world. They are still here. They will always be here. You close your eyes and you let the darkness come. It is not the darkness of sleep, not yet. It is the darkness of a mind that is too tired to fight, too tired to remember, too tired to be. You let it hold you, let it carry you, let it take you where it will. You dream of the horse. It is standing on the beach, pale and still, and you are standing before it, your hand on its flank, your ear against the wood. You hear the heartbeat, steady, patient, waiting. You press closer and the wood gives way and you are inside. It is dark and it is warm and it is full. You are not alone. There are others here waiting, breathing, watching. You cannot see them, but you know they are there. You wait with them in the darkness, in the silence, in the horse that is not a horse, in the city that is not a city, in the dream that is not a dream. You open your eyes and the sun is rising. The city is still there, the wall still standing, the temple still upright. The fires are out, the smoke is gone, the silence is complete. You stand and your legs are stiff, your body cold, your eyes heavy. You walk down the steps, your feet finding the stone, your hands touching the stone. You walk through the square, past the horse, past the temple, past the houses that are empty, past the streets that are silent. You reach the gate and stop. The Scian gate is open, the wood charred, the stone blackened. You step through and the plain is empty, the beach empty, the sea gray and still. You stand at the edge of the water and you look back at the walls. They are still standing, the walls that have stood for 1,000 years. But the gates are open, the city is empty, and the people are gone. You stand there for a long time, watching the sun rise over the ruins of Troy. The water is cold at your feet, the sand soft, the wind still. You are tired, so tired. You want to sleep, to rest, to let go. But you cannot. You are the only one left. You are the one who remembers. You are the one who will carry this city, this war, this memory with you wherever you go. You turn away from the walls and walk along the beach. The sand is soft, your feet sinking, your steps slow. You do not know where you are going. There is nowhere to go. The city is gone, the people are gone, the war is over. You are alone. You walk and you do not look back. The sun is higher now, the light stronger, the shadows shorter. You walk along the shore and the waves wash away your footprints, erase your passage, make it as if you were never here. You walk and you do not stop. You walk until the walls are a line on the horizon, a memory, a dream. You walk until you cannot see them anymore. You stop at the edge of the water and you look back. There is nothing. Only the sea and the sky and the silence. You stand there for a long time, watching the waves break against the sand, listening to the water, feeling the wind on your face. You are tired, so tired. You close your eyes and you let the silence hold you. You think of the horse. You think of the men who came out of it, who opened the gates, who let the army in. You think of the city that fell, the people who died, the lives that ended. You think of the old man who warned them, who told them to burn it, who was not listened to. You think of yourself, who knew, who heard, who did nothing. You open your eyes and the sun is setting. You have been standing here for hours, or perhaps it has only been minutes. Time has lost its meaning. You are tired, so tired. You want to sleep, to rest, to let go. You sit on the sand and the water is cold at your feet, the wind still, the sky darkening. You lie back and the sand is soft beneath you, the stars appearing above you, the silence holding you. You close your eyes and you let the darkness come. It is the darkness of sleep, finally, the darkness that you have been waiting for, the darkness that will carry you away from this place, from this war, from this memory. You let it take you, let it hold you, let it be you. You dream of the city. It is as it was before the war, before the horse, before the end. The streets are full, the houses bright, the temples crowded. You walk through them and you see the faces of the people you knew, the people you loved, the people you lost. They are laughing, talking, living. You walk among them and you are a part of them and you are not alone. You dream of the horse. It is standing in the square, pale and still. The people are gathered around it, reaching out to touch it, to bless it, to welcome it. You stand at the edge of the crowd and you watch. You want to speak, to warn them, to tell them. But you cannot. You stand there and you watch and you wait. You dream of the gates opening, the army entering, the city burning. You dream of the screams, the fire, the silence. You dream of the end. You open your eyes and the sun is rising. The sky is gold, the water is blue, the sand is white. You are lying on the beach, alone, the city gone, the war over. You sit up and your body is light, your mind clear, your heart still. You look at the sea and it is beautiful, endless, eternal. You stand and you walk toward the water. It is cold at your feet, the sand soft, the waves gentle. You walk until the water is at your waist, your chest, your neck. You stop and you look back at the shore. There is nothing there. Only the sand and the sea and the sky. You turn and you walk into the water.